Okay, so I thought I'd just make a video going over a full week of training for me. I post a lot of like training clips on Patreon, but I never like go through what I do, like every session, like how many sets and reps I do, and like what exercises I pick and everything. So I thought I'd just make like a full week of training video. So you can see the program here, Monday to Saturday. I take Sunday off usually. Like you can see with the exercise choices here that it's like very specific to the competition lifts, so very specific to like the snatch and clean and jerk. I don't do a lot of variation. Here on day one, you can see I do clean pull with a pause at the knee, and I do snatch pull off deficit on day three. I just do those variations because I found they help me the most. Like compared to just doing regular clean pulls and snatch pulls, because with the snatch pull off deficit, I can focus on using my legs a lot more, which is a weakness for me on like the snatch. I tend to use too much of my back during the first pull, so this is a perfect variation for me. And with the clean pull, with a pause at the knee, that's very good for me because I tend to like round my upper back slightly during the pull of the clean. So that's the reason I'm doing that variation. But with the other lifts, yeah, it's very specific. Just basic snatch, power variations, front squat, back squat, nothing special here. And you can see here the volume isn't too high as well. Like in the power snatch, I do doubles. Basically do a double here on day three as well. But on all other exercises, it's pretty much singles except the pulls and the squats. Like here, clean and jerk, just singles. Snatch on day two, it's just a bunch of singles. So yeah, this program is highly specific, and that is just because I'm getting more advanced, I guess, with weightlifting. Like I've been weightlifting for 11 years now, so I can kind of get away with having a highly specific program. And of course, I want to peak as well in January, so I'm just preparing myself for that. So I am doing quite a lot of sets as well. If you look at the program, so I'm doing like 6x1 clean jerk here. Yeah, I do up to like 12 singles on some of the days here. So I guess the volume is high in that way, but I'm not doing any like doubles and triples. So as I approach like January, I'll start to like lower the amount of sets I'm doing and increase the intensity. So instead of like just going up to 180 kilos here and doing like multiple sets, I'll try to go up to like 190 or even 200 kilos and cut the amount of sets. So yeah, the structure of the program, it's very similar to pretty much all the programs I write for weightlifting. Like you can see on day one, I do power snatch and clean and jerk. Day two, I do full snatch and power clean and jerk. So I don't think it's a good idea to do two full lifts in one session unless you're like maxing out. Like you can see here on Friday, I basically do like max out in the snatch and the clean and jerk. So I like to alternate between like the power variations and the full lifts for each day. You can see here on day three, I do clean and jerk again. So for day one, day two, and day three, they're moderate intensity and moderate volume. And you can see here, day four, it's a very light day, just light power snatch plus snatch and power clean and jerk and very light front squat. And that's just to give me a break for this session, day five, where I maxed out on the snatch and the clean and jerk. And day six is a bit lighter than day one, day two, and day three, but it's still kind of moderate weight. It's not as light as day four. And that's basically like the structure of every weightlifting program. So you're accumulating fatigue for the first 3 days. There's no day off here. And then Thursday, usually, you take a rest day, and then Friday, max out Friday. You probably heard that term. And Sunday off. So yeah, it's very similar to pretty much all weightlifting programs. Like pretty much every weightlifting program should be designed in this way. And another point I want to make is a problem I see with some weightlifting programs. Like they have days dedicated only to the snatch or the clean and jerk, and they don't do both lifts on the same day. And I think that's very important because, in my opinion, like it's very important to practice the lifts as much as possible. So you can see on every day of this program, I'm practicing the snatch and the clean and jerk or a variation of those lifts. So day 1 power snatch, clean jerk. Day 2 snatch, power clean and jerk. Day 3 power snatch complex and clean and jerk. Day 4, even though it's a light day, I'm still doing snatch and clean and jerk. Day 5, of course, maxing out the snatch, clean and jerk. And day 6, variation of snatch, clean and jerk. So every day of this program, I do the snatch, clean and jerk or a variation of those lifts. So I just want to compare like this program to a program I followed from Pavel Nidek a couple of years ago. So here it is. You can see like the exercise choice is very similar. The biggest difference is the volume is much higher in this program. Like I see a lot of people when they design a weightlifting program, they just pick exercises they don't need to do. Like they like to add in like random complexes or random variations of the lifts. Like it is a good idea to like do variations of lifts if it makes sense for you, like if it's to correct like a technical issue. But really, if you want to just increase the variation, the best thing to do is just to increase the number of reps you're doing. Like increasing reps, increasing volume is increasing variation. So you could follow like the exact same exercises here for a peak. You just like lower the amount of reps you do. So instead of doing like 6x3 in the snatch, as you get closer and closer to competition, you could do something like 5x2 or 7x1. Like when I started this program, I remember my technique in like both the snatch and clean and jerk was awful. Like you can look back at my previous videos and see the technique before I started this program in, was it like mid 2012. And my technique improved a lot just by doing these exercises. I didn't do any other variations. I didn't do no foot movement snatch. I didn't do any hang snatch or any variation like that or any complexes. I just did these basic exercises and I improved my technique. So if you want to improve some aspect of your technique in the snatch or clean and jerk, just try doing the lifts first. Just try making the changes with the basic snatch and clean and jerk or the power variations with lighter weights and try with heavier weights before doing like crazy variations. So that's basically all I have to say about my program for this week. I'm going to go through all the videos now and I'll do a commentary. So just to go over day 1 again, the first exercise is power snatch. It's quite light. I only go up to 115 kilos just because I like to focus on the speed. Second exercise, clean and jerk. Third exercise, clean pull with pause and knee and back squat. So this is 100 kilos. It's quite easy for me. Like with the power snatches, I'm not really focusing on technique at all. Just because the weight's so light, it's easy to perfect technique pretty much. So all the focus is on increasing the speed. You can see I'm alternating between using like straps and no straps, and that's just because I really need to focus on snatching without straps because it sucks at the moment. So this is 115 kilos. You can see the platform is like falling apart, like the mats are coming up. Like these platforms are just awful, even though they cost a lot of money. Like you can build a better platform if you just made like a homemade one. So this is 150 kilos clean jerk. You can see that jerk is extremely slow. It's very slow bringing my head through, and the drive wasn't good at all. It definitely improved as the sets went on though. This is 160 kilos. Bit better. But the main problem with my jerk is like my dip and drive. Like I suck at dipping. I suck at like changing the direction of the bar just because I lack like quad strength to do so. So you'll see the next day of training I actually do like jerk dips with like a weight, is it 210 kilos? I'm just experimenting with that exercise to see if it will help me with clean jerks. Like, this doesn't look too bad, but that's just because it was 160 kilos. It's not anywhere near like my max. So when the weights get like heavy, like above 190, I really struggle to like dip and drive properly. But with weights like this, it's no problem for me. So this is 170 kilos. I'm lifting with color plates now, so you guys can tell what the weights are instead of me putting titles all the time. So this is 180 kilos, and the reason I'm using a black bumper weight there is because there's not enough illegal plates. And this is the second set. Got some funny reactions in this video. This is clean pulls at 210 kilos. Kind of light for me. Like, my goal is to like really increase the weight of my snatch and clean pulls. Like when I was peaking before I went to like Berlin, like before I snatched the 192 kilos, I was doing very heavy snatch pulls and clean pulls. Like I was doing clean pulls with like 260 kilos and snatch pulls at up to like 215. So my goal is just to increase the weight of pulls before January. So this variation is like really good if you're struggling to keep your upper back straight during the pull of the clean, which is a big problem for me. Like if you look at my clean jerks inside view, you can see like my upper back rounds too much, and that puts me in a less optimal position for the second pull. Another variation you can do, which I like, is clean pull plus 2 hang clean pulls below the knee. That's very good as well. And these are just back squats. I'm finding it really difficult to like increase my back squats these days, just because it's the last exercise on every day of the program. So I might have like one day next week where I do like squats first, so I can just like work up to a heavy set. There's a thing called like the priority principle. So the first exercise you do in the session is the one you're going to make the most gains on. So if your squat is really lagging behind like your Olympic lifts, if you need to like increase your leg strength, then it would be ideal to do squats first on the program. And this is 230 kilos. You can see this guy in the background. He just goes around and he just takes weights off bars and puts them away. Sometimes people are actually like using the bars as well. There's just like personal trainers just running around this gym and like cleaning up everything. And this is 240 kilos, first set. So this was difficult for me, even though it's nowhere near my max, and it's just because it's the last exercise. And because my squats aren't as strong as they used to be. It's not the priority at the moment. Although I do need to like increase my front squat if I want to clean jerk big weights. So yeah, that's all the videos from day one. Okay, so this is day two. Started with snatch, bunch of singles up to 140 kilos, power clean jerk, a bunch of singles up to 140 kilos. So very similar in weight. Front squat and jerk dips, which were very awkward, as you'll see towards the end. But this is snatches, starting at 120 kilos. Didn't feel good at the start of this session, honestly. As I worked up in the singles, they started to feel much easier. What I was really focusing on here was just pushing the ground with my legs. Because I tend to like use my back too much in the snatch if I don't focus on it. Like the first pull in the snatch and the clean is quite simple. All you have to do is just think about, you know, pushing the ground with your legs. Like, don't let your hips rise up and let your like lower back and hamstrings take over. Of course, another thing is like you have to be patient as well. Like it is much harder to start like with a lower hip position, but it puts you in a better position for the second pull. So just keep that in mind, that actually it will be harder to pull the bar off the floor, like when you use your legs more. Because I have a lot of like clients now, and I program them like very light, like snatch pulls and like clean pulls, and they're wondering why the weights are so light. It's just for them to focus on, you know, proper positioning and everything. So anyway, this is a power clean jerk. It's up to 140 kilos now. And this is a triple at 170 kilos in the front squat. See, I let my pinky go out there, which is not ideal. I really struggle to keep like a full grip when I do reps in the front squat, which is why I like doing singles. I've always liked doing singles in the front squat. I just find it so much easier compared to doing, you know, like doubles and triples. Like I have no problem doing, you know, something like 15 singles in the front squat, but if I had to do something like 3x5, I'd struggle. So this is jerk dips. I set the safety pins way too low. So this is very awkward. I'm not too sure if this exercise will help me. I've tried this in the past. It did help, but one of the main problems with this is it caused like a lot of hip problems. And like knee problems, so it is like a very stressful exercise, even though the range of motion is like very, very tiny. You know, you're going to be lifting like well above like your clean and jerk max, so it is going to be stressful. So you have to be careful with like variations like this that go above your maxes. So this is day 3, started with power snatch plus hang power snatch below the knee. I don't like doing above the knee. That's pretty much the only reason I did it below the knee. Followed by clean jerk, snatch pull, off deficit, and back squat. So this is 100 kilos. Made a mistake there not to bring it to my hips. So again, this is a great complex if you're like struggling to keep your upper back straight in the snatch, because it's much easier to like keep your chest out and maintain like a tight upper back from the top to the bottom compared to starting at the bottom. So this is clean jerk. 150 kilos. I wasn't planning on going up to 190 kilos this day. Like you can see here, I didn't look too happy doing these all, but as I kept doing them, they felt better and better, and I kind of noticing that with clean jerks. Like if I just spend a longer time warming up, they do begin to feel easier. Another thing I've been doing in my clean jerks, it's kind of like psychological, is I've been just kind of like walking up to the bar and just not like panicking or thinking too much about what I'm doing, I guess, because in the past I used to like really panic when the weight went above like 180 or 190 kilos, because clean jerks can get scary once you approach those weights. But nowadays I just have a lot more confidence, like above like 180 kilos in clean jerk. Like confidence is like a big thing in Olympic lifting. If you don't have like enough confidence, you won't be a good weightlifter. Like there's a lot of lifters I know who have like huge, back squats, front squats, deadlift. They're very strong, but they just lack confidence, and they, can't lift big weights in the snatch or clean jerk. That was a horrible jerk. This is 180 kilos, and yeah, the jerk here was awful. Clean is very good though. Believe it or not, I was actually planning on stopping at 170 kilos this day, but felt pretty good, so I just went up to 190. That guy in the background got a bit scared, and he walked away. So clean was very good there. I didn't rush it off the floor like I usually do. That's another like issue with my clean and jerk, is with the clean I just tend to like rip off the floor, and that's good in a way because it makes the bar feel light off the floor, but it causes like my upper back to round, and obviously that's not good for the second pull. It's a lot better if I just like ease the bar off the floor and focus on positioning, but that's more scary because the weight feels heavier then. And when you're cleaning weights like 220 kilos, it's very, very scary. So you'll see on day 5 that problem, is I just rip the bar off the floor once it gets past like 200 kilos. And these are snatch pulls off deficit. The reason I'm going off deficit is just to focus on using my legs more. If you do that exercise, you'll definitely feel like a burning sensation in your quads, especially if you do like above 3 reps. And just some back squats. I like to keep the reps on like back squats high throughout any phase of training, just because I lose strength like very quickly on squats if I don't do high volume. I've just noticed that like the past like 11 years of training. So this is day 4 and nothing special here, just light power snatch and clean jerk. So this is power snatch plus snatch, 100 kilos. You can see the weight is like bouncing away because this platform is awful. You can see I'm like slower here compared to the other days, and that's just because of fatigue. So this is just a light day to allow recovery for the max out session on Friday. can definitely see you look very tired here. You can see the mat just like coming up there on the platform. Like this platform is falling apart. It's the same with like all the other platforms in the gym too. So this is the last set of power clean and jerk. So day 5, this is the heavy session where I snatched at 180 and cleaned 220. Unfortunately, I didn't get a video of the clean pull and back squat because my camera battery ran out. I went to a different gym just because the platform in the previous gym, you know, it's just not suitable for like very heavy lifts. It's actually quite dangerous for a number of reasons. So this is just warming up in the snatch. It was actually very cold in this gym. The bar was actually cold, so right when I was snatching 150 kilos there, my hands were actually cold from touching the bar. And you can see I took off my t-shirt here and rolled up my pants, but it was an awful idea because I was extremely cold, so I actually put my shirt back on. This is 170. Missed it like an idiot because I just rushed into the bottom position without finishing the pull. So I just bumped up to 175 and made it. Huge run forward. See, if I did that in the previous gym, I would have ran off the platform, which would have been dangerous. This is a miss at 180. Try it again, and I make it. Oh, that's another miss. Sorry. So this is the make. Pretty happy with that because I was only going to go up to 175, but I felt strong enough for 180, so I just went for it. This is 200 kilos. It was absolutely terrible. Clean was awful. My left elbow almost touched my left knee. And the jerk was awful as well. Just made that lift with brute strength pretty much. And this is 210 kilos. You see I messed up the timing. And you can see here in the jerk dip, you can see how I like pause at the bottom. Like I don't really like spring out of the bottom like I should. I do a better job here at 215 kilos, but I still don't make the jerk. Timing's much better in the clean. Yeah, need to work on that dip and drive. And this is 220 kilos. So this is the final day of the week. Power snatch, power clean and jerk, snatch pull from deficit, and back squat. So the weight was moderate on all the lifts except the snatch pull off deficit, which went up to 180 kilos. Definitely was quite fatigued here because I wasn't planning on going that heavy actually on day 5. I was only planning on snatching 170 or 175 and clean jerking 210. I actually didn't clean jerk 210, but I did clean 220, so it was still stressful. So this is 110. Power snatch single. Even though I felt like crap this day, the speed was quite good. This is 120 kilos. See, when the weight is this light, I can dip faster compared to when the weight is like, above 180 kilos. So the jerks this day were very good. Much faster. This is 140. This is snatch pulls off deficit. I was kind of rushing these off the floor. I'd actually recommend people to like pull very slow off the floor with this exercise, just to really focus on using the legs. But I was very tired here. I just did not want to do this. So this is 180. And I kept it like very light on the back squats after this, just because I was very fatigued. So Monday next week, day 1, I think I'll have to take that day easy, even though I'm taking Sunday off, just because day 5 was very intense for me. So this is only 190 kilos for a triple. Looks easy, but I was like very tired. Just did not want to do this. I wanted to go home. So I hope you guys enjoyed this style of video. I was thinking about making another video like this, but I'll include my meals, like every meal I have during the week or something, and I'll like track my calories and just show you guys like different meals that I make. So stay tuned.